Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
And start with the pros as well.
Yeah, what's up? Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the final round of the ARL GT3 Trophy. Season 10 closes its curtains here at the beautiful Road Atlanta circuit. My name is Adam Reed in the commentary booth. Alongside me is Sam Fitzpatrick, and of course, as the majority, it is Jim Cunningham in production. Sam, we're in for an absolutely fantastic final round of ARL GT3 Trophy action. We've got 4 championships to decide: the pro, the pro-am, and the amateur, and the team. It's all up for debate tonight.
Yeah, it should be a really good close to the championship. This is one of the drivers' most favourite circuits. Sometimes gets a little bit of a bad rep when it comes to endurance racing because of the multi-class. It's really tricky around the circuit. But we've just got one single class, you can really appreciate just how fun this roller coaster of a circuit is. Really mixes well with the GT3 cars. And yeah, all of our championships, they are almost decided. I think none of them, or I think the teams might mathematically be over, but I think all the Jazz ones just need our Jazz to finish in a decent position, maybe a top 20 place for each of them, and they should be able to take their Season 10 crowns in their respective championships.
Indeed, plenty of opportunities and open places for the action to contend. We do have 28 cars out on the circuit. A little disclaimer, unlike the circuit, I am a little bit under the weather, but pushing through it as much as the engines will do around this circuit, because they've got a whole hour to decide their fate tonight. And of course, as usual, we'll go back to the format we started right at the beginning of the season with the A format, which is a 60-minute race. Fuel capacity is at 60%, and of course the winner will get 140 points. Points usually go down to the top 60, but of course we don't really have to think about who's in the top 60 at this moment in time, because as long as you finish on the circuit, you will be getting points, as there are 28 cars out on the track. And this qualifying session is going to be absolutely mighty. You know, it's a superb track in my opinion. I know plenty of drivers and fans who really like this circuit, and sim racers as well. And I think, Sam, it is going to be an absolute corker as a season finale.
Yeah, it should be really good. The drivers, of course, we've already had the amateur drivers and the pro-am drivers set their qualifying times so far in this session. They get 10 minutes each, and then the pros who are out now get 12 minutes. None of the pros currently troubling Miko Nurmi's best time because, of course, their tyres are still getting up to temperature. We'll take a few laps around this circuit because it is one of the shortest circuits we go to all season long. But once again, Nurmi right up there. Meldo, who's been really good in recent rounds, he's right up there. Of course, another course sim racing driver with Paluch. And Alex Rogers, once again, performing so well. And yeah, what could have been for him this season? Of course, he had issues at Manucore and a couple of other rounds this season, which have cut his points achievement, but up there in 5th place and on the pole for the amateurs. But that's going to change a lot over the next few minutes, or maybe even the next few seconds, because our pro drivers are about to put in their first quick times, and we may have a change for pole position.
Might do as well. It's currently Miko Nurmi in the Pro-Ams at the top of the standings. 4 Ford Mustangs at the top of the standings as well. Make that 5 with Aiden Young in his wonderful Ford Mustang go to 5th. So WSR esports driver looking very, very strong in his car. Let's have a look at the standing for each of our categories, starting off with the Pro class, because of course that is the top split. That's the top tier that everyone is going to be racing in. Here it is. Norbert Leitner is at the top of the standings, 959 points ahead of Aiden Young. I believe 99 points separating them. And then of course Yannick Steinhoff, who's had a horrible run. I believe 3 DNFs in the last 3 races. Indeed he does. So he picked up no points in the last 3 races that he's done. And Kakipa, Bokla, Wazowski, Abizu, Mishka, all the way down there in about 9th place, and Anders Meyer running out the top 10. Great stuff there from the pros that are continuously getting super close all throughout to the top 4 remaining in that one. So keep an eye on those. Let's move on to our Pro-Ams, the green kind of class where you'll see that on the timing screens on their banners. It's Mike Paluch, 712 points to Carl Winkler's 659. The top 4 all filled with German and Core Sim Racing 1 driver with Grossman, Lotman, and then you got David from Engel, Bari, Nurmi, Fox and Mjelde rounding out the top 10 in that category. And of course we will then move on to our amateurs, where we now see our Italian stallion Jacopo Rampazzo, 556 points at the top of the standings. Alex Rogers there in second, 483 points. He had a DNF back at Magny-Cours. I think he will live to regret that if he wants to go on a title charge, but of course he did say that he was here for fun and just pure sim racing. Schudler, Chialfi, Hodgson, Edwards, Nova, Beseggio, Riker and Vidal round out the top 10 in that class. And my word, Sam, we're in a super run here. I think the closest, let's say, between the top 2 in the class is the Pryans. Paluch, 49 points ahead of Winkler on that one. So that's going to be mighty come the end.
Yes, and with the drop scores as well, it sort of makes a bit of a difference as Anders Meyer goes to the top of the standings. He's showing some very positive form in the closing stage of the season since he's changed to the Ferrari again. Yeah, interesting that Winkler in the last 5 rounds has finished second in every single one of them. Which in the Pro-Ams, which sort of demonstrates just how strong Mick Paluch has been this season to still be at the top of his teammates. And just a shout out, by the way, to the teams who don't necessarily have to show the graphic, but so we've got Impulse Racing at the top with Della Chaz in second and Course Sim Racing third. So congratulations to Impulse Racing by Tamliv, who they've sewn up that team's title with a round to go. And I think that's their 2nd consecutive team's title in the series. So a really good job to those guys. But they will want to end it on a high, and currently they are not on pole position. It is this man, Anders Meyer for Racing Live Esports, setting the pace right now.
Indeed it is, and he's had a bit of a rough run throughout the season. Of course, he's missed a few rounds. The Norwegian seems to be in fine form since he switched to Ferrari. I think around about Sonoma back at round 3. Of course, when he made that switch, the Norwegian really holding on to that position very well. We only have about three and a half minutes remaining left of this session, so still by time for some of these drivers to be able to improve up the standings. Either Aiden Young only going to fourth there, but Miko Nurmi holding on with his 1:17.765, currently sitting about 8/10 of a second, or 800 of a second, I should say, off Anders Meyer. So looking pretty close in this stages of qualifying. But again, these last runs are still yet to be done so far. Of course, you see there 4 different pro drivers there in the top 5. Yeah, how close is that going to be?
Yeah, and interestingly, we've got a little bit of a mixed-up field, I would say, this tonight, because, yeah, I was saying the Impulse cars aren't at the top. They're really not at the top. I mean, the furthest up Impulse driver right now is Igor Wazowski. Second place out of the Impulse guys is Norbert Leitner, championship leader. So maybe just a little bit less practice for Leitner with the job score. He's already got the championship wrapped up. So maybe a little bit less pressure on him today, and he's just going to have a bit of fun. It's not a million miles off the pole position, to be fair, but it is just always so tight around here because it is such a short circuit. Let's see if he can find an improvement and prove me wrong with this latest lap time. Kirkuper moves up to 2nd place. Leitner will move up here, but I think he'll only be to 8th, honestly. No, he doesn't move up at all. He stays in P10. Had a couple of personal best sectors, but maybe picked up a 1x somewhere. So Leitner still in P10.
Yeah, absolutely. The Mercedes AMG car, which continue to push on, is in a little bit of traffic, but just staying in close contention with all the other drivers, starting to get a rhythm as well. We have a look at the 1-1-3 there of Aiden Young. He's trying to push on. Currently sitting on the 3rd row of the grid alongside Nikolai Mjelda. So it seems like the young American really looking to push on here. We've got a trio of Finnish drivers. Whoops, set somebody into the wall, but we do have Rufika Keeper, Miko Nurmi, and Jeremy Ostring, who have done super well, the Finnish trio. And speaking of Ostring, this is his highest ever qualifying position, if he can stay like this. He's had an absolutely superb run. It's been difficult, I'd say, over the course of the season for him. But yeah, if he can get higher than 8th, then that would be a best qualifying position for him. At the moment, he's holding that superbly well.
Yeah, the drivers now putting in their last lap times, and Kirkuper finds it by just 100th of a second over Anders Meyer. It didn't look particularly comfortable through the final corner, but he kept it within the track limits, and he does take what will surely be pole position. Aiden Young will not make it because the times have all ended, and what an effort that was from Kirkuper. And yeah, awesome to see, you know, him and Ostring you were mentioning before. Awesome to see Finnish drivers near the top of the series, because, you know, when I started out on iRacing sort of 8 years ago or so, the Finns absolutely dominated sim racing. I mean, in the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix series, you had legends like Grigor Hutu and Jussi Jäkelä and lots of Finnish drivers like that. And yeah, basically, if you wanted to be quick, you had to be Finnish back in those days. You don't see it quite so much now. Sort of the Dutch drivers have sort of taken over a lot. We see in our series a lot of Danish drivers near the top and Hungarian drivers. But yeah, it's cool in this series that we got 3 of the top 4 drivers on this grid being from Finland.
Yeah, indeed. It's as I say, it's great, you know, to see that kind of representative being included in the series, and I just love the multitude of different nationalities. You know, we've got Finnish, we've got Norwegian, we've got American, we've got German, British, Hungarian, French, Italian. We've got Polish as well. I believe we had a Dutch earlier on in the season. We've got Austrian as well. I love multicultural or multi-nationality championships. It really makes for such an amazing you know, championship. You of course you can also make great nicknames like the Italian Stallion out of it. So yeah, I absolutely love that. Or maybe like the Flying Dutchman, but of course that's used plenty of times before. We'll put in the I don't know, something along the lines of a cold Finnish man, but yeah, we can make that up at a later date.
Yeah, hopefully a lot of these drivers are back next season, so we can use all those nicknames for the next one. But the drivers currently out on track for their little sort of interludes where they can just get a little bit more practice out on the circuit. There's not going to be any rain tonight, so it's not as though they need to get used to the conditions or anything. That has been the case over a couple of rounds this season. Manucore was particularly heavy rain, but also had a lot of rain in race 2 back at Road America as well. But this round in the summer in the south of the USA, very, very warm, well, not as warm as it could be, but still fairly warm conditions. And yeah, barely a cloud in the sky, so not too much for the drivers to learn in the next 30 seconds before they'll start to grid up.
Indeed, I thought of another one. So Sam, I'll give you on this one. What do you think of the Dashing Dane for someone from Denmark?
The Dashing Dane, I'm a big fan of that one. I've not heard anyone else come up with that, honestly. So I'm a big fan of that. I'm not a big fan of the Flying Dutchman or the Flying. I've heard Flying Scotsman and stuff like that because they're being repeated a lot. But the Dashing Dane, big thumbs up from me.
Lovely. I'll keep that in the handbook of my commentary kind of atomisms, I'll call it on that one. But it's still, we'll see how it all goes. But the warm up is finally done here at Road Atlanta, and we'll move on to the grid. And of course, looking around, here it is. Rufika Keeper grabs his 4th pole position of the season ahead of Anders Meyer in the Ferrari. It will be Mikko Nurmi to grab his 2nd pole position in the Pro-Am of the season, with Jeremy Ostring completing his best qualifying of the season. He puts himself into P4. With the American Aiden Young back on home soil, hoping to go and put himself onto a fantastic result. Nikolai Mjelde, the Norwegian, will put himself into P6 ahead of Mac Paluch, who is looking to round up that Pro-Am Championship. He's got a good lead, but of course that's not going to be guaranteed by the end of the night. Alex Rogers, 3 pole positions in the amateur class. He's done it once again here to tie with his championship rival Jacopo Rampazzo. That title is still not over. Igor Bazowski for the Impulse Racing team. He will start 9th alongside the championship leader in the pros is Norbert Liedner. How will the Hungarian fare? Such a big lead. Just keep on the track. He will be crowned the champion. Pierre Bizu will be in 11th ahead of Carl Winkler, who will be on the 6th row of the grid. We then move further down. We find Jacopo Rampazzo leading that amateur championship. How will he fare tonight? Being in the midst of that pack is going to be tough to get out of. But on that row 7, he'll be joined alongside the pro driver of Kellyanne May, the Frenchman who is hoping to go well. But then we find his fellow countryman Roman Bokla on the next row of the grid. He'll be heading over to Spa for very, very soon for his Ligier real life event over at Spa-Francorchamps. So go and enjoy that, Roman. He'll be alongside Dominic Engel on row 8, the German, looking to finalise a good result on the final race of the season. Then we find Tommy Wiedel, who will line up in 17th. Alongside him will be Ronald Grossman, who will be in P18. And on the 10th row of the grid, we find the 2 Germans of Jan Schüttler in the amateur class against the pro of Yannick Steinhoff, who lines up 3rd, I believe, in the Pro Championship. How will he fare, being right in the midst of that pack? Sven Lottmann will be in 21st. We move on to the 11th row of the grid. We're lined up with the defending champion, Leon Mishka, who will no longer be able to defend his title. He'll be handing that crown over by the end of the 1-hour race. Daniele Chiaffi will start in 23rd place alongside the Austrian, the sole Austrian of the grid, Marcus Fox, there on 24th place. Then we move further down 2 more rows. We find Stefan David, the Frenchman, in 25th, alongside Jan Volmers in 26th, and then the other American, Jason Hodgson, will be on the back row of the grid. He'll be alongside Manuel Pindel on the 14th row. Sam, we're in for a superb night of racing. 28 GT3 cars are going to take to Road America. What do you expect for the action we'll see tonight?
Well, hopefully everyone gets through the first lap all cleanly, and then, of course, we're going to see, I think, very close near the front, a lot of fuel saving from some of these drivers. Expect to see plenty of lifting, coasting, plenty of chains. But Rufika Keeper, he's got to try to keep the lead in this first lap coming up.
Indeed, it could be a bit of a slow burner, so prepare yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Get your snacks ready. I hope you got a drink ready as well, because we're in for an absolute super hour of racing for the final time in ARL GT3 Trophy. We go green, we go racing at Road Atlanta, and we're heading toward the first corner. It's a good start there from Rupi Kakipa, and they all fly through on toward the S's section, trying to follow in behind, get a little bit of space, get a little bit of get in line before you sweep your way downhill on toward the S. It's the beautiful sight of 28 GT3 cars sweeping their way through the S of Road Atlanta. What else could you want? Anders Meyer keeping in close contention as well, but look at Nermi and Ostring. They're ready to find a gap as Aiden looks like Malik Paluch actually trying to search for a gap here. The Ford Mustangs look pretty strong here, with 6 of them being in the top 7, but look at that, Igor Wazowski side by side now with Mjelde in the background. They head their way down the long straight here. Pretty quick lap of these GT3 cars, 1 minute 17, remember, and they look to now already start making moves, because Wazowski is desperate to continue his great form this season.
Yeah, and Alex Rogers will be getting tempted in this as well. He's not got too much to fight for now in the championship. It looks like that one's over, so he can really go for it against these pro drivers, but round goes Wazowski. And we'll see so much side-by-side action into that chicane. It wasn't over-ambitious for him to attempt that one. Maybe even being a little bit of netcode, I'm not entirely sure, but just a tiny bit of contact, and round he goes. So big shame there. As Miko Nurmi has had an issue, and Nurmi is down to 6th, 7th. He's off the circuit now, and there's been a change for 3rd place as well with Aiden Young. I think it's just gained 2 places, so I think Ostring made contact with Nurmi, and that has allowed Young to get past the pair then.
Dramatic scenes here. Of course, Aiden Young starting in 5th place. He's already got up 2 places since the start. Mike Paluch as well, the German driver in his Ford Mustang, up to 5th now. He's gone +2. It's been not the best of starts for Miko Nur, because you say he's dropped 8 places, but yeah, up 6 for Emmanuel Pindle from right at the back of the grid, and Igor Wazowski down to 27. Here's the replay now with Igor Wazowski looking on that outside line, early braking a little bit. I think just turned a little bit in too much on that Ford Mustang, because if you had a look and just kind of removed the Ford Mustang, you would have realised, yeah, there's not enough space for the 2 of them to go through there. So Wazowski may have thought he was clear, or maybe the Ford would have backed off here, but let's have a look and see what happened with the red and white car of Miko Nurmi. That, I think, might be Ostring up the inside, and there with the tap round. Going a little bit of lawn mowing as well there, Sam. So not ideal there for Miko Nurmi whatsoever.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a penalty, honestly, for Ostring. He was a long way away from the apex. I mean, you could see from that first replay how I think it was definitely the car on the outside's fault. I think Melder was on the curb on the inside. I don't think he could have done a whole lot more in that situation. But on that second occasion, Ostring missed the apex at T1. It's very easy to do. And yeah, at that point, he will probably be getting a 5 or maybe even 10-second penalty post-race. So we'll have to keep that in mind. As Miko Nomi's had another issue now. I think he's had maybe a crash at the top of the S's. He is still running, but he's continuing to drop places. And the Finnish driver now falls to the lowly depths of 18th place.
Indeed he does. Yannick Steinhoff also dropped to the back of the field as well. I just had a look down on our timing screens, down 8 places from his position as well. But someone who we have to give credit to, here he is, Alex Rogers, who is absolutely on the push now. See if he can pass the pro-am of Nikolai Mjelde in toward the left-hander, in towards the chicane they head, before they go over the crest and on towards turner number 12 to complete lap 3 of this race. And you know, there's still the early stages where we're still an hour into this race, and we're still 4 minutes into this 1 hour race, and you kind of look around and think, what are the strategies for everyone? A lot of lifting and coasting, especially down that back straight here. We see a little bit of a tussle here with I believe Jan Volmers as well. Oh, that's getting a little bit roughed up there, because that is Schutler in the middle of that one. It looks like the Core Sim Racing drivers going side by side through that little section, and yeah, Sam, this is starting to get pretty close to them. You do not want any sort of form of collision or contact at this stage, as proved from the drivers around.
Yeah, that was an awesome move there from Volmers to go around the outside. Not sure if he was quite on the defense or whether he was on the attack. I think he was on the attack because he's up 4 places from his race start, so he really managed to navigate his car well there to avoid that contact. And then we've got some big hitters near the back here. We've got Mishka in 24th place, he's down 2 places, not quite sure what happened to him. And then we've got Wazowski down 16 places, he spun at the chicane on lap 1. And then Yannick Steinhoff is actually a bit removed from these guys. He's 2 seconds back, you can just see him going over the crest in the background there. So he's a bit further back as well. As we cut further up, and it's Alex Rogers now going alongside Pierre Ubithu, and Ubithu's just at the fastest 3rd sector of anyone. Actually gained 0.3 of a second. He must have got a fantastic toe on the first part of the back straight. And now it's put him in a position where he can get the inside for the first corner. Ubithu up the inside, Rogers will try to come back. It's not decisive who's necessarily got the best line into T2 here. But it was Rogers who was defending for all he's worth, and this is really forcing these guys back up into Lightnet and Boat Club behind.
The rigger stuff there from Alex Rogers. Just having a look at the lap time from the top 3. I believe 74 thousandths of a second separating the top 3 in terms of lap time last time around. That is super close. That is the margins you're running at in that pro category. Running on board now with the Mercedes of Pierre Ubizis, who now get a clear vision of what it's like to drive a Mercedes AMG GT3 car. He powers his way out of that little corner and on toward the long straight, probably the longest straight on the circuit. Will he pull to the right? Will he pull to the left? You have to go left there because the gap will now start to open up. But Alex Rogers really pushing him there. Look at that little bit of side contact as well, and Alex Rogers was kind of trying to warn off the pro car and keeping that inside line for the right hander of that chicane. And I think Pierre Ubizzi will be looking at that saying, just get out of the way, you're 2 classes lower than me. But Alex Rogers really trying to prove here that he is not a slouch by any means, even in the pro class. But up the inside goes Pierre Ubizzi. Well, he's trying the outside. Oh, bit of contact, and Ubizzi's off into the grass, and he's just managed to keep it. But that was kind of the experience between pro and amateur. There is a bit of a difference in that one, but Alex Rogers, my word, I was going to give you a round of applause, but you did kind of hit Pierre Ubizzi on that one. So, yeah, not quite getting the full round of applause, but it was very close to a full-on round of applause.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure whose fault one that was, as Pintor's had an issue. I think he's just spun it at the top of the S's, so Manuel Pintor may have hit the wall and might need a faster pair after that. But also, yeah, lucky not to get a faster pair. There was Ubithu, because yeah, he was sliding very close to that wall and managed to just about survive. Not quite sure whose fault that was, honestly. Rogers didn't track all the way out to the left, but he doesn't necessarily. I'm sure the stewards will have a look at it if it is reported. But yeah, quite a rivalry that those two might have now for the next 40 or 52 minutes, because we've still got a long way to go in this race and there's not a lot of space between the pair of them. We'll get the gaps between the drivers up on the timing tower in just a second. But you can see there the lap time difference between each of the drivers, and Aiden Young, sorry, a little bit faster than the cars ahead that last tour of the circuit.
Indeed. I wonder if Anders Meyer is kind of doing a little bit of lifting, coasting and saving, because he's trying to of course focus on Rupi Kakipo at this moment in time. We know how fast Aiden Young is, of course not quite there in qualified P5, but he has put in a superb couple of races together in the last few rounds to put himself into a fantastic second place in the title standings. Of course, he's had 2 wins in the last 3 races, and that's really just shown how great he's been.
Oh, see how he's spun ahead of these guys.
You're right on that one, and there he is, a little bit of a cluster as well of cars here near toward the back of the field here. But yeah, away from me reading off some statistics, let's have a look and focus on the real action that is the racing here. Down in towards the long straight we go in toward that chicane. We will head. They're 2 abreast by 2 abreast as well, and I wonder if the car in the background for the Impulse Racing team might also get involved. I think that's Leon Mishka and Igor Wazowski. So in towards chicane, no contact seemingly, but it's getting pretty rough up in here as well, Sam.
Yeah, a little bit of a freight train there with Volmers and Mishka both getting past David, and it's not going to get any easier for the Frenchman. He's got Igor Wazowski, who's lining him up next, who's actually got Ronald Grossman to worry about himself, but yeah, I think it's only a matter of time until David loses these places, and then Sialfi, who had that spin just in front of them, remarkably managed to keep it on the track. It didn't seem like Sialfi really went off the track. It seemed to just go around on the top, or maybe we just caught it right at the end when he was rejoining. But he didn't lose too much time. He did lose a few places, and he's now at the back of this very congested train. And then, of course, not too far back behind that, we've got another train with Fox, Schuttler, Hodgson and Steinhoff still in the lowly 27th place. And Manuel Pindal, despite that spin at the top of the S's, I thought he may have hit the wall. I don't think he did. He didn't have to come to the pit, so we've still got all 28 cars running within about 30 seconds of one another, 10 minutes into the race.
Indeed, this is also important to kind of decide a couple of places there, more towards the lower standings. If you need a reminder, then of course points are scored all the way down to 60, but indeed it's just about staying on track at this moment in time. You see that train continuously becoming apparent. It's side by side there. Leon Mishka trying to go around the outside here of Jan Volmans. It's German on German action. It looks like also that's Stefan David, the Frenchman, trying to get involved here, but that momentum.
Oh, no.
Wazowski spins around. Oh dear. Oh, the Polish driver has had an absolutely woeful start to this race. 11 minutes in, he got hit round right at the start of the race by Alex, but I think it was Alex Rogers, correct me if I'm wrong there, Sam, but then he gets spun round once again by Ronald Grossman in the McLaren. So yeah, I think the Polish driver is not having the best of days, and is really suffering with that one.
A strange one. It wasn't actually Grossman who hit him, even though Grossman's got some damage. I don't know why Grossman got any damage, but I don't see him hitting any car. So really strange there that the front bumper just had enough and decided to go away, because it was actually Stefan David who made the contact. So a bit of a strange one there, how iRacing has figured that one out, as there was some heavy netcode. Yeah, I'm not even sure whose fault this was. You'll see David here. I think he got quite over the curb on the inside. He's also got a lot of turbulence from the car ahead. And yeah, I mean, it's maybe David's fault, but at the same time, he has left more than a car's width on the outside, so it's not a slam dunk. I think it will be a penalty, and I feel bad for Wazowski. But yeah, that wasn't terrible driving there from David. He got a little bit unlucky that Wazowski's car reacted in that way. Wazowski's, though still running, he hasn't had to make an immediate pit stop, I think. You cannot get to the end of the race from here. You need to get to at least 20 minutes into the race before you can get the pit and come to the end. In fact, actually, he has come into the pits. It was a bit more serious, the damage, than I thought. So he will be our first pitter, and he will have to pit again later on. He will be pretty much a lap down by the time he comes out the pits.
Indeed he will, and yeah, it's such a shame there for Igor Wazowski. So I was really hoping that he would, of course, avenge himself, but of course it's so difficult coming from the back of the field there. Especially with the fire in your belly, you either drive. Actually, let's ignore that here, because here comes Aiden Young up the inside of Anders Meyer. I wonder if he would maybe hold back and save a little bit of fuel there, but it's decided that the American will not save whatsoever. Jumps up into second place, and now we'll have a look at his manufacturer teammate of Rufi Kakipa. It is Valkyrie competition against WSR esports as well. It is Mustang on Mustang action here in America, and the road Atlanta, and of course there's the road of Road Atlanta. That's something to try and pronounce 2 times speed. Of course, I've still got ill brain, so it's not quite working out for me. But Aiden Young here, really pushing on. It's been a superb effort here from the young American, and he can only get better from here.
Yeah, a lot of lifting and coasting there from Anders in second place, willing to give up that position. And it looks like Aiden, we know that Aiden's quite, confident, I think, about his own abilities. And so he might feel like he can go for the lead here, maybe pull away from the rest of the field. But it is quite a drafty circuit, this, because of this long back straight, and now, of course, the run from the chicane all the way to T1. So it is tricky to break the draft. But Young is going to go to the lead, and he is going to try to break it. He's had enough. Doesn't want to save any fuel, and of course this might be the worst place to be basically out of this lead chain, because you're punching a hole in the air, you're not saving any fuel yourself. But yeah, Aiden wants to lead regardless, and yeah, try to build a gap. As Vedal has got past Winkler, by the way, that's for P13, so Tommy Vadar having a very good race of it currently, up 4 places. Winkler not having a great time of it. We've seen Winkler really contend for race wins, I think, this season. I think back at Spa, he was right in the running for most of the race. That was a slightly unusual 75-minute race. The strategy sort of fell away from him on that day, as Vadar has lost those positions again. He's lost 3 places to 3 core sim racing drivers. He might even lose 4, in fact, because Dominic Engel has got past well. So Winkler recovers back to 13th place, but yeah, still not Winkler's best round of the season. He's quite far off his teammate Mick Paluch, who he's run pretty close for in the Pro-Am Championship.
That was sorry about not speaking. That was my my microphone. I put it on mute to go and do a little bit of calculations, and forgot that I put it on mute. So yeah, here I am. I'm back.
I've only made that mistake 1,000 times myself.
Yeah, this is kind of the very rare times that it's happened to me. But let's have a look at this battle, because of course we do have Marcus Fox trying to move past Daniele Chialfi, but it does seem like the German, it does seem to be in a really good spot. It's again, once again, we're looking at German on German action as well. So they pull their way through, and you can see there Yannick Steinhoff also trying to find the front bumperless Ronald Grossman as well. So it's German up against Austrian up against German. So yeah, really strong stuff here. And Yannick Steinhoff will be desperate to trying to go through here. Well done. Sven Lotman was there on the right hand side. He's spun out of the second part of the chicane, and Yannick Steinhoff will now try and move past up into P20th. They're not a position he likes to hear, but yeah, he'll try to move on swiftly through, which he has done, and we'll try to reclose that gap back up to Marcus Fox after his little tussle there with Grossman. I wonder if that will maybe be costing me a little bit of front downforce as well, Sam.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, it's not good. I mean, I'm so confused how you even picked that up. It must have just been the biggest netcode ever, because I swear he didn't hit anyone. But yeah, just absolutely went off. And yeah, hopefully he knows as well. He might not know. Yeah, he's got a few teammates who might be able to tell in their mirrors that he's missing that bit of his car. But yeah, you'd forgive him for not knowing. And he will have to come into the pits in maybe 5 minutes time when the pit window opens and get it fixed. Norbert Leitner has moved up into P7. Now he's got past Alex Rogers. But Rogers might be able to come back there. Currently alongside, you'll just see them in the background. So they come around the final corner, and Rogers has already defended against Abithu for quite a while, and now he's going to try to defend against Bokler. There's never a gap for the Frenchman on the inside, and Bokler now overtakes Leitner. And wow, this is impressive from Rogers. Second place in the Amateur Championship, remember, currently beating first place in the Pro Championship. I'm so impressed by a lot of these drivers because the field today, we have lost a few drivers during the season, as happens every season. It's a very long season, 10 rounds. But the drivers that we've been left with are absolutely stacked. Like, this is an insanely competitive field. The lowest I-rated driver I'm seeing, I think, is 2.2k, which is Jason Hodgson. Then you go up to 2.9k for Jan Schuttler. And then above that, I think you go to maybe 3.6k for Dominic Engel. Like, it's so competitive, this field. Yeah, that's why some of these, front runners like Steinhoff and like Mishka and like Leitner aren't necessarily having as good a time as maybe they'd expect.
Indeed. Wondering how this battle will turn out here. We now look back to the quadruple little tussle here. A little bit of a line holding back by Alex Rogers here. He's very much the cork in the bottle, because you've got Roman Bokler, Norbert Leitner, and Pierre Bizou right behind. Of course, Pierre Bizou was the one that got slightly tapped by Alex Rogers. Still not entirely sure who was maybe at fault in that battle. That saw the green Mercedes head off onto the grassy lands of Road Atlanta. But it does seem like the Frenchman is trying to push on and try and maybe latch back onto his teammate Roman Bokler. But yeah, the Brit is really holding on superbly well. I think Alex Rogers has got to give credit to himself for sure to be able to hold all these guys back. And of course, he will have Kylian May in his McLaren. No, he's gone to the Mercedes. I'll have a look at that maybe I'll have a look at that maybe when we get to. After the session. I believe he started with McLaren, changing the Mercedes, but you can see he is now latching onto his fellow countrymen. So yeah, Trad Automotive pretty much putting in some decent results here and just trying to continue to push on.
Yeah, and of course this guy, Jacopo Rampazzo, always doing well up in P12. He's going to win the Amateur Championship this season. That's one of the championships which isn't mathematically over. If Rampazzo finishes like really low down, like 28, and like Rogers wins the entire race, I don't just mean win out of the Ams, but beat Aidan Young, then I think Rogers could still win the title. But it's very unlikely, obviously, even though Rogers is doing extremely well up there in P7. But there's quite a few extra points you can get for the top positions. It's quite a steep scoring system we have in this series. I'd like to give a shout out, by the way, to a couple of the sponsors for this series. Apex Racing Academy is one of them. Of course, if you want to get setups for these GT3 cars, but a lot of other cars on iRacing as well, do check out apexracingac.com. Get yourself a subscription. We've got different pricing plans to fit your budget and fit how many sort of cars you need for your subscription. So do check out the website. We've also got a free track guide, a free car guide. So for the Mercedes GT3, you can get all the setups, all the data packs for free for the Mercedes GT3. So it's a really good offer. So do take that up at apexracingac.com. Also thanks to SDK Gaming, who provide our overlay as well, and thanks to VRS as well. Check out vrs.racing and apexracingsimulators.com in order to check out their very strong sim racing hardware.
Indeed, a big thank you, as you say, to all of those sponsors who have joined us in Apex, and of course the Apex race, the ARL GT3 trophy. It's been a pleasure to have all of you on board. Meanwhile, Marcus Fox having a look up the inside there of Daniele Cialfi, and looks at the Mercedes in the multicolour Mercedes. We'll have to we'll just stay ahead in that one, and also Yannick Steinhoff is going to be in the wing mirrors of these two drivers. Of course, a very, very strong driver. We know how Yannick is, but he's just having a bit of an off day. I think, I don't know if it's his head isn't in the championship game, or he knows it's kind of completely over. But overall, Yannick Steinhoff has been a driver to really compliment. But it's just been those last three races that just haven't gone his way. Whether it be maybe title pressure or other reasons outside, but yeah. It's just been something that he's really struggled with, and it's kind of all clambered on him at once. And it's disappointing as well, I think. Yannick, we know how strong he's been. He had multiple wins this season. When you have results like that, especially 3 DNFs in a row, according to my spreadsheets, it's never something you want to have. So he's kind of maybe got a bit of a fire in his belly at this moment in time to try and pull himself up as high as he possibly can. But as we cross over the third of the race mark, we'll have to see how it all goes to plan, because we're now approaching that stage where we could have a few pit stops coming our way, and we're now seeing there Marcus Fox is starting to get a little bit aggressive underneath the rear wing there of Daniele Cialfi, and Steinhoff will try and go around the outside here at the final corner at turn number 12.
Yeah, leaves a very wide berth, does Steinhoff, and it works out very well for him. Just had so much more momentum when Fox got a little bit held up, and now he's got Cialfi he can get. I'm sure Steinhoff just hasn't practiced for this round much, which is fair to seeing that the championship is over. But yeah, it's so crazy how quickly his championship went away, because I think after Road America he was leading the title, because Leitner had an awful race too where he got wiped out in the early stages. At that point, you think you're going into Manuko Ike. Steinhoff's got a really good shot at this title now, and then, yeah, of course, it's gone absolutely disastrously in all 3 races in the last 2 rounds for Yannick. So, yeah, he's miles behind now in the championship, and looks like he won't even finish in the top 3 in the championship after doing so well for so much of it. So, big shame there. Alex Rogers still at the top of this train. I wonder if any of these guys behind will try to go for the early stop. I feel like the pack is so congested right now. Like, there's so few stragglers at the back. Actually, if you came into the pits, you wouldn't be in a whole lot of traffic. You sort of end up on the other side of the circuit. You can see there how everyone's sort of in the same half the track. And around here, you're probably going to lose about 3/4 of a lap by taking a pit stop. So you could actually come out into a decent amount of free air. You'd maybe have to overtake Hodgson and Schuttler, but that would be about it. So, yeah, undercut is possible for these guys if they feel like they're a lot faster than Alex Rogers. And I wonder if maybe that's going through the minds of Norbert Leitner or Pierre Ubithu right now, because the pit window is well and truly open.
Indeed. And we see here Yannick Steinhoff. I do wonder about season 11, already looking forward to the next season of ARL GT3, which I hope a lot of viewers will be tuning into. Maybe even some new viewers might even chime into ARL GT3 trophy, or maybe some of you out there might be thinking, hey, I want to join this championship, and I'm pretty sure you can. Just go out and check in the Apex Racing TV Discord, and I'm sure we'll get you sorted in there. Down the inside goes Yannick Steinhoff, trying to get the exit now on the Mercedes. So, yeah, it's Mercedes versus Mercedes, German v German, pretty much exactly the same, apart from one of them is from the pro class, one of them is from the amateur class, and it looks like now the drag race down in towards the chicane sequence is going to be pretty tough on this one. It's all about the last of the late breakers as they chime up in 5th place. Bang on the limiter, down the gear they go, and Yannick Steinhoff will have that position cleanly, and brilliant stuff here. I do wonder if maybe Yannick Steinhoff will be able to push on for a title hunt as well as Aiden Young, because he is part of Rubika Keeper for the lead of the race, and he is on for a fantastic 140 points. It may not win him the championship, but to end with 3 wins in 4 races would be a mighty achievement.
Yeah, I mean, I've followed Aiden for a few years, so he's been part of a lot of Apex Racing League series. Sort of, I think he started out in some of the single seat series, maybe like the F4 series. I think he's dabbled a bit in the Porsche Cup as well, but he's improved so much. I mean, he's up to 8.3k now. Like he, whenever Pesk returns, I wouldn't be surprised if he sort of goes for the qualifier series, tries to get into the contenders whatever the format is for that next year. Yeah, he's really a top driver. Still got years to improve as well. Like he's still a fairly young driver, and yeah, he's improved a lot this season. And I hope that he's got the appetite to probably win the title next season. Because yeah, if there was a season starting tomorrow, he would be one of the favourites. If you want to sign up, by the way, for the next season, just check out the Apex Racing League Discord. There's a link to that in the description below. If you join that, then when we announce next season, which will probably be in about a month's time or so, then you can get your name on the entry list as Ronald Grossman with that damage comes into the pits. Of course, the entries for this usually fill up pretty quick. We usually max out the field, so going to the Apex Racing League Discord or following Apex Racing League on X or on Instagram or on Facebook is the best way to know about the series sooner than anyone else.
Indeed, so many opportunities to join such amazing leagues here in Apex Racing TV, and here on the 27th minute of this race, we are very much still in the midst of a superb race run. Miko Nurmi was our pole sitter in the Pro-Am. He has dropped all the way down to 4th in his class, but he's now looking to go and catch on Carl Winkler. 2nd, of course, in the championship for the German driver in the Mercedes just up ahead. But Miko Nurmi is someone who is just trying to push on and see if he can maybe gain back what he lost in these opening first couple of moments of this race. So Miko Nurmi really just trying to push on. The Core Sim Racing 1 drivers really pushing on, see if they can maybe latch onto Jacopo Rampazzo, but yeah, there's not too much up for grabs as well for either of these guys. Carl Winkler is behind in the championship. In that Pro-Am, Miko Nurmi is quite the way back after missing a few rounds, and Alex Rogers here in his amateur class is really running super.
That was his first sector of the race for Alex Rogers. He's not holding back. How has he done that? So that I'm trying to think what the first sector is. I think it's just T1 because it's only 11 seconds long. So when you nail T1, it's a good feeling, and I think that's what Rogers has just done, because it's not as scary as it used to be on the outside of T1, but it used to be that basically if you hit the curb, then you're guaranteed to spin and hit the wall. It's still pretty treacherous now, and Rogers has absolutely nailed that T1. It doesn't give him a whole lot of relief though from the cars behind. Bokler is still just 0.3 of a second behind. We have had a few pit stops with David and Grossman and Schuttler and Hindel. Thought we also saw, Steinhoff as well. I don't think I said Steinhoff. Steinhoff is currently the leader of the drivers who are coming to the pit. So yeah, a few drivers trying it at the moment. I think it would just be left side tyres that they're taking today. I don't think it'll be all 4 tyres. That tends to not be the go-to strategy. I think it's sort of just Mossport, I think, was the one circuit that I think the drivers did go for all 4 tyres. I think that here 2 tyres should be enough. As you see, Rogers just running a little bit wide at the top of the S's.
Yeah, indeed. I was just having a think about tyre strategies as well, because of course in iRacing you can either do 2 tyres or 4 tyres. Well, we know the kind of the characteristics of Mosport and how it's kind of long sweeping corners that really took tyre life out of the rubber as well. In terms of this one, it's not too bad. It's kind of turn 1, turn 12. That really does it for you in terms of that one. The S is maybe a little bit as well. That kind of puts pressure on your front left as well. But yeah, I think the rights are also having a little bit of a beating as well. But here in Miko Nurmi trying to go through there on Dominic Engel. No, sorry, that's a back marker, my apology. I think that's Manuel Pindel who has been into the box, and he is now circulating out there. So he's trying to now continue to chase down Carl Winkler in that one. So apologies for my mistake, but it looks like Carl Winkler is still sitting in a strong position so far. The Mercedes has been a superb car to use all throughout the season. I don't see many drivers that have maybe changed or yeah, as I say, switched over at all. It's been mainly the Ford Mustang and the Mercedes you wanted to go for. You know, you thought that you had the likes of the BMW drivers, Porsche drivers, you had Acuras right at the start of the campaign, and they have completely all the way died down. I think Jan Nova was one of the last drivers to use that Acura. So for sure, it's been interesting to see the manufacturer changes, the car changes, but obviously it does come with a punishment of that being minus 50 points, which is proved to be quite critical in some drivers' races. Here we go, Alex Rogers under pressure here with Roman Bokler saying, "I've had enough, I'm going to go on through." And the Frenchman now climbed up the hill and will enter 7th place for one of the first times this event.
Yeah, Bokler got through quite easily there. I think Beathu and a couple of others might be thinking, why did Alex fight me so hard? And he sort of just let Bokler by without too much of a fight there. But yeah, Bokler was just too quick, and Rogers, yeah, not fancying fighting that one. Yeah, this guy Leitner, he was really defended well from Rogers a few laps ago. But yeah, Bokler's crucially got that position now up from 15th on the grid to 7th for Rayman. I think we have seen a few times the Dutch cars get much better in the race. Also very good in the wet conditions as well. As I think it was a B3 who managed to win back at race 2 at Road America very impressively. As talking of a B3, he's gone into the pits. Engel and C Alfie also into the pits. I think the drivers can go maybe 2 or 3 more laps, depending on how much fuel they have saved so far in this race. There's Leon Mishka a little bit by himself. He's actually got a back marker just in front of him. Manuel Pindel, the defending champion, running in 14th place right now. He's still got another pit stop to go.
Indeed he does, and we'll have to see how that all kind of plays a part when we get into those pit stop phases. I think that we've had so far, I believe, Daniele Cialfi, Pierre Bizou, Engel, Steinhoff, David, Grossman, Schutler, Pindel, Vidal, Lotman and Walowski into the pits, and in comes more drivers. That looks like Jeremy Ostring, Malik Paluch and Alex Rogers are also in there as well. So they're coming in early. There's a Pro-Am as well making his way into the pits. That is going to be Jan Volmers. So more drivers entering the lane here just to get that pit stop done and out the way with. See 2 more Mercedes there in the background as well, making their stops. Marcus Fox being one of them. I believe maybe that Dominic Engel. No, it can't be. It can't be Dominic Engel. Correct me if I'm wrong. So it looks like now we've seen a bit of carnage here, because we see Aiden Young is now caught on 2 back markers here, and he is currently leading that group of 4 drivers, I see, or 3 drivers, I should say. Ooh. Look at that, the Mercedes Ferrari. No. And Meyer, oh dear, no! Anders Meyer goes round, and that is not ideal whatsoever. Nikolai Mjelde is going to go through on that one as well. There is the Ford Mustang on the right-hand side. Well, 2 leaders enter the pit lane. Manic stuff.
Yeah, Anders was trying to overtake the back marker there. I think it was it Schutler maybe he was overtaking, and then just went in way too deep, and there was absolutely nothing that Kakipa could do. Yeah, it wasn't even an attempt at an overtake, actually. It was just because the backmarker moved back onto the racing line, and he had to go somewhere, did Anders, but he, I don't know. I don't want to be the steward on that one, because who do you blame? Do you blame the backmarker, or do you blame Anders? But that's really helped out now Aiden Young, and bonus for Young as well was that despite leading for a lot of that stint, he still managed to get to a good number of laps. So he comes out of the pits now 1 second ahead of Keeper. And there's quite a gap now behind. Anders Meyer's really detached. He's actually going to be behind Jeremy Ostring, who pitted 1 lap earlier, did Ostring. So Ostring moves up into 3rd position. He was 4th and 9, but he's now overtaken Meyer. And even Melder isn't that far behind Meyer now after that spin. So yeah, what a shame for Anders. Really had a shot at the race win. And now it's down to a 2-horse battle.
Pretty much is between Young and Kirkkeeper, but we'll have to see how the Ford Mustangs do it against each other. We know how quick both of them are, but yeah, they're both up in the top 4 of the championship. We now have a look here. Norbert Lietner trying to get past Roman Boklar. The Frenchman gets a little bit scared there by the Hungarian, and yeah, decides I don't want to turn in on the Mercedes aside of me, so I'm just gonna do the safe thing and just go a little bit wide. Yeah, not ideal moment there for Roman Boklar. I'm sure that he will live to fight another day, maybe, and try and just push on, see if we can re-catch Norbert Lietner. But yeah, pit stops are pretty much done by everyone now. That was a very quick round of stops, but we're now into the phase where we've got 24 minutes left of this race, and we now see Young up against Keeper. How will this battle go? There's still a little bit of saving to do for both teams, but both drivers, I should say, but they're still free to race. Ostring is up in a podium position, so a superb quiet race that he had, but my word, we've got an absolute fight on our hands that is going to be going all the way down to the wire.
Yeah, should be very close. I wouldn't want to call who's going to win out on this one. Young's got track position, but it looks like Keeper's happily in the slipstream, so it was up to about a second, and I feel like Young struggled maybe a little bit on the cold tyres, and had he had a better outlap, he may have been able to get the gap up to 1.5 seconds, and then from there you can maybe yeah, keep your rival out of the draft, as Rogers going for a tiny gap there. Roman Boklas, he's really struggled on the cold tyre as well. He dropped back behind Leitner, of course, and now Rogers might get past as well. Great pit stop sequence, by the way, for Leitner, because he was behind both of these guys before the pit stop. He pitted 1 lap earlier and had a slightly shorter pit stop, and that meant that when the other guys came out of the pits on their cold tyres, he was able to get past, of course, with his warm tyres, and he sprinted away as well. So Leitner up to 7th, and might even be able to get a top 6 out of this one, maybe even a top 5 before the end of the race. Rogers unable to re-overtake Boklar, though. After that, he remains in P9. As Kelly and May is about 5 seconds behind these drivers, so not too much for him to worry about. By the way, welcome to everyone in the YouTube chat who's watching along. Let us know who you're supporting. We're a little bit likely to show you, a little bit more likely to show them on the screen, of course, if you do let us know. And yeah, really great to have all of you tuning in for the rounds. It's been a long season, 10 rounds, and but yeah, we really do appreciate you being around for each of these rounds. And of course, any drivers watching back as well, hopefully you've enjoyed the broadcast this season. This has certainly been an entertaining one, and Alex Rogers is trying to add a little bit more entertainment here, because he's just 0.2 of a second back at the start of this back straight, which might be close enough for him to go for a move at the end. But you can see for the first half of this straight, at least, really not much of an impression being made by his BMW.
No, absolutely not. He's still trying to lurk in behind is Alex Rogers, and he'll maybe go for the move, but Boklar, yeah, he's just not quite there. Didn't quite find the room by the time the opportunity was open for them, when he found out that he was braking later and the Mercedes ahead, but diving in toward the right-hander. And this is the battle for the lead here. We last saw that at about 0.6 of a second between the American and the Finnish driver, but Keeper now finds himself at a stage where well, of course, he's right on the tail of Aiden Young. I wonder if Young's maybe used a little bit more in his tyres at this stage, and Keeper is now able to push on, but it seemed like maybe the Ford Mustang behind is just starting to spend a little bit of that rubber. So You know, there's two different situations this could have gone in, but it looks like, I believe, the Finnish driver is using more and spending more of that rubber at these early stages. And with 20 minutes remaining, we are in for a hotly contested battle. Now, will Keeper try and maybe look for that gap on the inside line and try and maybe break late here, because Aiden Young is just holding position? No, I think that's going to come at a later stage here, Sam.
Yeah, because there's no... Well, I don't know if they need to save fuel. Only they really know if they need to save fuel. And even they might be a little bit uncertain, because often we can get to the point where maybe there's 5 seconds or so leeway whether we get the extra lap or not. Young... I mean, I was babbling on. So maybe we couldn't hear so clearly. If Young maybe lifted off slightly into T1 a bit, sometimes that can be the way to go in order to, you know, help the tyres. Yeah, not put too much pressure through them by lifting, and that can sometimes be the way to get the absolute fastest lap times, let alone save some fuel. But yeah, it's looking very close. Austrian 3.1 seconds behind, matching them on the last lap, so not making much of an impression. That might be something else that Keeper is thinking about. Let's not fight too much early on here, otherwise it's going to turn into a 3-car battle rather than a 2-car battle. But yeah, this is a lot of fun with 20 minutes to go now for the season.
Indeed it is, and really interesting to see how this is all panning out, especially with the battles that are going on all around the circuit. Mikko Nurmi here in the Ford Mustang, right up behind Kylian May. Of course, Nurmi, who was trying to make amends for his after his kind of a little bit of a fumble of a pro-am pole position, trying to put himself back up into the top 10, and at the first expense of Kylian May, the Mercedes in the pro standings. I think he's had a bit of a quiet race, has Kylian May. He's just been sitting at the back of all the battles, and the Finnish driver of Mikko Nurmi has a little bit of a moment here as Lampatto and Carl Winkler have a little bit of a tussle. The blue and black McLaren just streaks on ahead and stays in his 12th position, but Carl Winkler will not want to give that up on a platter. He will want to try and push his way through, maybe not as aggressively as I may have pronounced on that one, but yeah, he will want to try and make his way through, whether that be with ease or whether that may be a little bit of hip and shoulder, but not too much of force on the track. Of course, no penalties we want to be dishing out.
Yeah, Winkler had a fantastic run. I thought he got actually alongside going into the chicane, but wasn't able to make it stick. Good calm racing from Rampazzo, who's been absolutely rock solid throughout the season. I swear he's always sort of in that 12th position. He has been so good as the Italian this season, and well deserved in the amateur championship. He is up to 4.1k, which feels weird that he's an amateur at 4.1k. I don't think he was quite that high at the start of the season, but yeah, he will easily be a pro-am next season, and I think we'll probably be fighting for the title if he keeps improving the way that he is. A question in chat, by the way, from Maximilian: will there be a series with GT4? Maybe, Maximilian. We did have the sports car series last season, which was pretty fun with the GT4s and TCRs. We've had a very successful TCR series this season with the Apex Racing League Touring Car Britain, which is a 10-round season. So not really too much appetite to necessarily have GT4 and TCR mixed again, but maybe we'll do a GT4 solo series. There's quite a lot of love for those cars. So yeah, do check out the Apex Racing League Discord, because if we do have a series in that, that will be where you find it out.
Indeed it will be. Let's have a look at this battle once again. Rupika Keeper is once again right at the rear end of Aiden Young. As I said, I think he was the one that was kind of using all the rubber at this stage, at this moment in time. But yeah, if Young wants to go defensive, he can. But I think Keeper is just going to stick behind for now and wait till those maybe last 5 minutes of this race, unless he wants to pull a little bit of a surprise bunny rabbit out of the hat. This time he doesn't, but Young was very much prepared to go defensive. You saw how the attitude of the car, he stuck it a little bit off that yellow line on the right hand side, or the white line, as it may be. I didn't quite pay attention, but yeah, I think there's a mix of white and yellow lines around this circuit. But yeah, he didn't quite fully stick to the right hand side, which is the usual racing line. But he just wanted to make sure that Keeper was in fact at bay. But it does seem like at this moment in time, this is the battle for the lead. Aiden Young trying to go for a third win in 4 races. Rupika Keeper trying to secure second place in the driver's standings. And what an absolute titanic battle we're having between the two drivers, and it is becoming an absolutely wild battle that could go either way as and when the checker flag drops.
Yeah, and I think Kirkupa is so much better than me. 7.4k is Rupee, but I feel like this isn't one where you can just leave it to the last lap, because with the way that you battle through the chicane, it's very possible to go alongside and the driver who was ahead before stays ahead. I feel like you've got to have maybe 3 cracks at it, and one of those 3 will stick for Kirkupa. So yeah, if he has a chance, he's got to go for it. Was Young lifting off again there? I don't know. Maybe that's just his sort of braking technique where he eases on the brake. So if he is lifting a little bit, then that does open the door for Kirkupa. But he's still not quite going for it. Behind them, Ostring is being caught hand over fist by Anders Meyer. Meyer's the fastest driver on track, helped by the draft that he's picking up from Ostring. Of course, if it weren't for that spin earlier on, which was sort of Anders' fault, albeit he'll certainly argue otherwise. I'd have to look at a few different angles of it to be sure of it, but he got caught up behind a back marker and then accidentally hit another driver. I think it was Kirkupa, and had a spin himself, and that's why he's down in 4th place. So yeah, if it weren't for that spin, he could have well fought for this race win, but instead he's currently fighting very close with Ostring for the final step on the podium.
Indeed he is, and we're gonna have a look at the attitude of how Aiden Young takes his car down toward this section, because if there's any place you're going to overtake on this circuit, it's going to be this section, whether that be the outside, whether that be the inside. You know, there's so many open opportunities, especially with how it is going around here. We'll have a look as well to the battle for 3rd and 4th, because that's getting pretty close there. If we could keep us up the inside, that was quite a late move there, but he's now going to try the switch back in towards 12. There is enough space there for a Ford Mustang GT3 car, and on that inside line, Kirkupa looking for his first win of the season, and he's going to go through here on the young American, and that is a superb move, but it's not quite done yet, because Aiden Young will try and find the gap around the outside, can't seem to find it, but in towards the S's section on that outside line, he's going to have to brake a little bit harder there. Is Aiden Young, and back off from that battle. Rupee Kirkupa leads the race once again here, and he's looked for his first win of the season at this very, very latter stage. Of course, round 10 of 10. We've gone through plenty of races this season, but Rupee Kirkupa has such a big opportunity to go for the win this time around. How aggressive will Aiden Young be this time around? And of course, with 12 and a half minutes left to go of this race, I think that may be one of the best places to do it.
Yeah, I said he may need to have 3 cracks at it, but no, once he had a go at it, he absolutely made it. Great work there from Rupee Kirkupa. Young couldn't quite cover off the inside line going into the penultimate corner, and this time around at least Kirkupa is safe heading into the chicane. Does he have a little bit more pace? And if he does, then that might be enough for him to shield off the attacks from behind. 12 minutes to go till the Finnish driver, he's starting on pole position, will take this race win. Boat Club, by the way, has got past Norbert Leitner. What has been going on with Leitner? He's being overtaken by Rogers as well. He must have just had a spin, Leitner, because he was quite far ahead of these guys, I think, just a moment ago. He came out of the pits really strongly, and yeah, he's now dropped 2 places, or maybe he's realised he's under fueled. He didn't take much fuel earlier on, or maybe he's getting in his head a little bit with the championship and just taking it easy, perhaps. Not entirely sure. Callian May, by the way, has got a black flag. That will be for corner cutting, as now he's dropping down the order. So I don't know what's happened to Callian May. Maybe it's a meatball, could be a meatball maybe, although I think that comes up as a different flag on our thing. So yeah, we'll have to get a replay of what happened.
Yeah, massively interesting to see what's happened to Kellyanne May, the Frenchman. It looks like we're going to get a replay on this one down in towards the, I believe this is the S section here, and he is in the Mercedes. Oh, he's going to get a big hit there and a big old whack in backwards into the barrier, and oh dear. That is not the way you want to go about that one. Delachad's automotive car now in a bit of a spot of bother where he finds himself now with a black flag. And this was earlier on. later on. Oh dear, yeah, more contact there. May spins round, and of course the black flag, I believe, will now come from there.
Yeah. I mean, no, like the black flag. We don't have live stewards or anything, so it must just be because of the damage or something that he's got that for. Maybe gone over the number of incidents. You get limited to 20 incidents before you have to take a drive through. So maybe another 4x there, 4x earlier on in the lap, and that took him over the limit. So yeah, that is disappointing for Cully and May. No, what has been a decent race for Trust Automotive. We're now going to have Winkler be overtaken because I think Winkler made contact with May when he was spinning around on the circuit.
Steinhoff.
And now Yannick Steinhoff has got a black flag, so he's gone over the 20 instant limit as well. So the driver's really struggling with track limits and 4Xs and whatever. And yeah, they'll have to serve a drive-through, which around a circuit like this, I imagine must cost you about 15 to 20 seconds.
Indeed. Yeah, super unfortunate for both May and Steinhoff there. One of them getting involved in multiple collisions. Yannick Steinhoff is now back out onto the circuit. It looks like damage there for Carl Winkler. So maybe he was involved with Kelly and Meg. I remember they were running pretty closely, if you remember, Sam. So were they the two that made contacts that eventually put Kelly and May into a spot of bother to kind of domino affect him into that second instant? Well, whatever it was, the damage is going to be done to Carl Winkler as well as Kellyanne May. So he joins the list of retirements of Vidal, Lottman and Wazowski to kind of round off everything here. And yeah, not ideal so far, but someone who's had a very ideal race is Rupika Keeper, because he's currently in the lead of the race with 8.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, this one might be a little bit of a damp squib, actually, because the gap's up to 1 second. So Young is struggling to keep tabs. Keeper is establishing himself as the driver who's got the pace around this Red Atlanta circuit. And yeah, this might be almost over, to be honest, at this point. Keeper looks so quick here. So yeah, very strong looking for him right now. By the way, I think with Norbert Leitner, I'm just keeping an eye on Leitner. He's now 1.5 seconds off Rogers. I think Leitner maybe is underfueled, and maybe Keeper is going to force one extra lap compared to what he thought was going to be the case, and that has caused him to yeah, be in a spot of bother when it comes to the fuel, because Leitner just seems to have run out of pace. At this point, he's about half a second a lap slower than the cars ahead. So yeah, not great end to the season for the Hungarian, but he's still got the points he needs for the title as Winkler with that damage. He is a moving chicane now to the end of the race. He has been overtaken by Engel. Volmers, his teammate, will get past him, and maybe even his last teammate as well, Fox, might get past him by the end. Still keeping pretty tight though on the back heading into this next corner, but he's doing a 20.2 that last lap to Winkler. The leaders an 18.3, even compared to his teammates, who he was facing against. He's about a second off the pace. So yeah, not too much resistance he can form as we see Alex Rogers, leader of the amateur drivers. Remember, there's 7 minutes of this race to go and still close to the back of Roman Bokler. There's also pretty close as well between Melder and Paluch. We thought that Leitner might join that by the end of the race, but it is just going to be a 2-car battle for 5th place overall and the win in the Pro-Ams. And I think Melder has got a race win or two so far this season. It would be good to see him get another one, because we've seen enough course sim racing drivers win these Pro-Am races this season. They have been totally dominant as a team.
Indeed, Nikolai Miada has not did have a win in Interlagos race 2, so currently the last winner of the Pro-Am, but he's looking for another one here up against Malik Paluch here, who is of course looking to wrap up the driver's title in the Pro-Ams. So towards the SEC goes. But of course, if he takes this win, I think he'll be the 7th of the season. But for Nikolai Miada, he's looking for only a 2nd. So the tallies really on opposite end of the scales for both these drivers, and you know, you have less than 6 minutes to try and get through here, Mike. I think the German is definitely got a lot of confidence in that Ford Mustang, but he will just be focusing on just trying to push that Norwegian all the way to the end and down in towards the chicane once again. This will be one of the final times already. Mjelde trying to break the toe a little bit, potentially by a little bit of a more dramatic move to the right hand side than you normally see, but it doesn't look like Palic is going to take this one lying down, keeping himself right on the rear end of that Ford Mustang. Two Ford Mustangs going at it in the battle for 5th overall, but of course this is indeed the lead for the Pro-Ams. So we now continue with Nikolai Mjelde as he heads up the hill. The S's section looking oh so important here. He's had a little bit of a nibble on the grass there, but you can see the differentiating lines that both these drivers are taking. It's so interesting around Road Atlanta as well, because of course, you know, there's plenty of different lines you can take. You know, you can try maybe a little bit more of a later line in towards some places, maybe a bit more of a tighter line towards others, and I love that about Road Atlanta. You know, there's so many different ways you can take corners, especially when you're trying to get in the wing mirrors. You have to take a little bit of a risk through the S's section, and that is going to be mighty. Speaking of mighty, can Palic get a mighty run here down towards chicane section he goes. They'll head down the hill and on toward this chicane once again. When he looks to the inside line, he is seemingly late on the brakes, but the gap just wasn't quite fully there. He would have gone for it. I think maybe got a little bit of a squeeze off Mjelde in the end, but he was very lucky to just be within this battle for now. There's still plenty of time left remaining, but it is time that is starting to die down on him and run out before the 1 hour mark is hit.
Yeah, he can't get too much close. Maybe he needs to go within, I know, 2/10 coming out of going onto the back straight. Maybe quarters of a second he needs to be within, but he hasn't quite got there yet. As here is our leader. It's up to 1.6 seconds now. So as long as he's all right on fuel, he is almost certainly going to win this race. So great drive from Rupi Kukipa. Maya actually getting quite close to Young in these closing stages, gaining by 0.6 of a second. If he keeps gaining by 0.6 of a second a lap, he will be on him come the final chicane. So keep an eye on that battle for second place. It could still be on. And once again, what could have been for Anders Maya? He had a spin, and yet he is still only 2.9 seconds off the lead as it stands. As a few of these front runners have to negotiate a bit more traffic. By the way, another shout out to ApexRacingLeague.com. And yeah, if you want to take part in this series for next season, or if you want to take part in our Porsche Cup series, or our Endurance series, or our NASCAR series, which is starting up in a couple of weeks, or our Fox Tekken series, which runs the McLaren GT3 series. We've got a lot of series currently active. We've also run, you know, GT4 series in the past, and prototype series in the past, and single-seater series. So just check out the link in the description below for the Apex Racing League Discord server, and that is where we announce our series, but also we announce it on social media, of course. Just follow Apex Racing League on there. Yeah, sign up yourself for one of these championships. Should be a lot of fun, as we have 2 more minutes to go. So we've got 1 more lap to go after this one.
Absolutely, really looking forward to seeing how they're all going to pan out as well. We have a lot of traffic here with Rupi Kukipa flashing away with his headlights, but yeah, he doesn't want to get held up too much here. But there you go, the McLaren of looks like Jason Hodgson will move on by, and then we'll have Jan Schutler, who will be moving out the way pretty soon. Aidan Young, I'm sure, will be just hoping and praying that that Schutler just stays in his place just a little bit longer, maybe for about half a lap. But of course, the Porsche will have to move to the side, and it's all down to the young American to try and get the job done. We should be with about 2 laps remaining here as well, left of this race. So not long after we've done 45 laps of the road Atlanta circuit, and my word, it gets better every single time there. The I ratings of all the drivers on your left hand side. So if you are an iRacer yourself, you can maybe match them up and see where you are amongst these drivers. Where do you rank? Tell us in the comments, where are you? What is your I rating? Where do you rank amongst these drivers? Would you be an amateur? Would you be a pro? And would you be a pro? Tell us down in the comments below.
Yeah, I would be. I'd be near the back. I'm 3.8k. I'm seeing Ronald Grossman. Well, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna flatter myself. Alex Rogers 3.8k. So I'm saying I'm as good as Alex Rogers by that logic. So I'm saying I would be P8. That's very selective because we have got a 7.7k driver down in 21st. So realistically, I would probably be outside the top 20, but I'm going to kid myself and say I'd be in 8th place right now. So I am very good. As the white flag is being waved, hopefully everyone's got enough fuel because we only made the extra lap by 10 seconds. And I think a couple of our drivers have had to fuel save a little bit in these closing stages. So yeah, let's see if anyone suffers. Fortunately, it is downhill at the end of the lap, so they might be able to get there. As Yank Steinhoff, talking of Yank Steinhoff, you just saw him in the foreground there, now you see him at the top. Oh, no, that's not Yannick Steinhoff, that's someone else. That is...
Ooh.
One of our... that's Callian May, who
You
spun round.
It
was Callian May.
Callian May, yeah, he's there.
Who else was it? As yeah, it's getting closer between Melder and Paluch for first place in the programs with half lap to go. And Melder seems to be struggling a little bit. I wonder if he's a bit short on fuel.
Yeah, he might be. So we'll have to see what the Ford Mustang is doing at this moment in time. A lot of our drivers now, a lot of the top running drivers heading all the way down this back straight in towards the chicane they head. I wonder if Paluch will make a move very, very soon. We'll keep on tap with that. We now look to this little tussle. But yeah, Rupi Kakipa will be taking the flag very, very soon to claim his first victory of the season. No move being made there by Malik Paluch either, unless he can try and make it out of the last corner. Aiden Young will finish second. Anders Meyer will finish in third. Jeremy Ostring there. Nikolai Mielder will take the flag home in fifth place ahead of Mike Paluch and Roman Bokla. But looking back, Alex Rogers will take P8 and Norbert Lietner claims the Pro Championship. With the 9th place finish for the Hungarian, Mikko Nurmi will finish home in 10th. And then we'll have Jacopo Rampazzo rounding off our amateurs champion. Leon Mishka will be in behind him. But there you go. All of our champions over the line. It was P9 for Norbert Lietner in the Pro. It was P6 for Mike Paluch in the Pro-Am. And it was P11 for Jacopo Rampazzo in the ABS. And well, what a superb race we've had. And the last few finishers come across the line. Daniele Cialfi will be the last one on the road. But wow, what a season. What a time. And that will close the curtain very, very slimly. Because we do have a couple of interviewees that will be waiting in the waiting room chat in a couple of moments time, but absolutely amazing. And there you can see the spirit of the ARL GT3 trophy right in front of your very eyes, and you can see a couple of battered and worn down race cars, including, you can see that Carl Winkler without a front bumper to his name. But you can see all three of our champs have been locked up, and well done to Impulse Racing. They are our, as I say, they are our team's champions as well. Leon Mishka, it may not be the title defense that he hoped, but of course a few missed rounds in the early stages, but that isn't to say he can't do any donuts at this moment in time, because what a season he has had.
Yes, yeah, good effort there from Leon. It was, of course, confusing. We actually have two Impulse Racing teams, and so it was the Impulse Racing by TAM livery which won the title, with Lietner and one of the other drivers, Yannick Steinhoff, who won the title, Mishka in the Impulse Racing team. I think they finished in third, but maybe second. I'll update the points in a little bit to see what the results were. But we can see the results for today because Rupiko Keeper was the race winner in the end for Valkyrie competition. Congratulations to him. Second place, Aiden Young. And then it was Anders Meyer, Jeremy Ostring. Winner of the Browns, of course, was Magelda, and then, of course, Alex Rogers was top of our amateur drivers. But let's jump straight into some interviews. I'll be generous, Adam. Who would you like to drag up for an interview first? Adam may have his mic muted, and that I don't need a
Yes, you're
second
right.
invitation, so I'm going to be selfish myself, and I'm going to drag up Rupi Keeper, who joins us now. Rupi, congratulations! That is a race win tonight. That must feel very good because that wasn't easy. Aiden pushed you all the way.
No, that certainly was not easy, but everything played out perfectly at the end. Managed to save fuel, save tyres, and then had the pace at the end.
We saw Aiden pass you about 20 or maybe 15 minutes into the race. Were you pleased when he overtook you? Was that part of the plan?
Well, basically, I knew he was coming. He's just like when I get to know him as a driver now during the season, I pretty much knew he was going to do it. But I would have been all right, I think. Also with saving at the front there, but yeah, it worked out perfectly at the end. So happy with that.
And then we saw you sat behind Aiden for quite a few laps. What was were you saving a little bit of fuel behind him? Were you sort of waiting for an opportunity? I mean, what was going through your mind for that sort of 15 minutes leading up to the race deciding overtake?
Yeah, well, obviously for the first stint it was all about fuel saving, and then for the second stint I was just like looking at his pace and looking at my pace, and we were still really close with the fuel. He was saving on the last stint, and I had to save a little bit as well. So just waiting for the perfect opportunity to pass. First time when I got really close on the back straight, then just sent it. Simple as that.
Well, it looked very, 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 very impressive, Rupi. You got it done in one go, and that was, absolutely what you need to do. Looking ahead, of course, now this season is over for now. But what's in the plans for yourself? What's in the plans for Valkyrie competition? I mean, are you going to be sticking with the Ford GT3, or what else are you going to be racing in over the next few months?
Well, I can break the news here that I won't be racing at Valkyrie anymore. I'll be joining Impulse Racing from now on, and probably have. I don't really know if we have plans for ARL right now. We have a lot of other series going on, so need to see probably at least next summer when there's a bit of a break from the other big series. We'll probably be back then.
Awesome. Well, that sounds very good. And yeah, best of luck with Impulse. I think, that team, as if they need to be any stronger, they now have got yourself. So, that will be a very strong squad. If we do see you guys back for next season, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to, Rupi?
I don't know.
Usually people give shouts out maybe to, I don't know, parents or like teammates or anything. I don't know if you want to give a shout out to anyone like that.
Well, shout out to Jeremy. He's done really good this season. He's only been here for half a season, and before that he didn't drive at all for 1.5 years. So he's doing really well now, and really proud of what he's achieved, and great race today for him. Here, bit of unfortunate contact at the start, but other than that, he did really well as well. So happy with that as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having a chat with us, Rupi, and hopefully we'll see you back on the channel at some point.
Yep, thank you.
Rupi could keep there your race winner tonight for Valkyrie competition, but yeah, very interesting to hear that news that he's going to Impulse Racing in the future. So yeah, not quite sure if that move's come about due to this season, but obviously Impulse have been very impressive. So yeah, that will be very strong for next season if they return. Adam, who would you like to have a chat with?
It only makes sense to get P2 in here. Let's get Aiden Young into the commentary booth so we can talk to the young American. If he is, oh, I need to. There he is. Aiden Young, you were live on Apex Racing TV. It was a well fought race against you and Rupi, but yeah, it wasn't quite meant to be.
Yeah, I think unfortunately just at the end my pace wasn't quite there. To the beginning to the middle it was fine, and then I don't know what happened towards the end. It was just like a switch checked itself off, and pace just kind of fell out the window. So when I saw Rupe get by me and pull 2 seconds, I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna win. The pace isn't there. No need to over push the car and end up wrecking and scoring 0 points. Let's just try and see if I can manage and hold off Anders until the end. And that's just what I did.
Of course, talk to me about your first stint because, of course, starting P5, you made an absolutely superb run up to the lead of the race.
Yeah, no, that was definitely a lot of fun. I had an unfortunate lap impediment in qualifying, and it kind of set me back a little bit. But you know that is what it is. It's racing. Things like that happen. You have no control over them. But yeah, no, that first stint was a lot of fun. You know, just making people think they're safe and then just sending it in there like, see ya, and getting those positions to try and get myself to the front as quick as possible. I knew had Rupe and Anders got out on the field, it was going to be really hard to catch them. So I got up to third as quick as possible and then just tried to run them down.
Indeed, and maybe looking forward to next season because you had a really strong end to the season. 3 wins in the last 4 races. How did that feel, knowing that you had a super strong end to the season?
Feels pretty good. Yeah, definitely gives me a lot of confidence. Usually, I'm nowhere near the front in GT3s, so this past month or 2 has been pretty good for me, giving me a lot of confidence and seeing what I can now do in these cars with the new tire model. It's been a lot of fun, and yeah, I'll be back next season for sure, and hopefully we'll go for that pro championship.
Yeah, apologies. It was 2 wins in the last 4 races. I've caught ill brain today, so I've pushed through. But yeah, a really strong season, and hopefully we'll see a championship hunt from you. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Aiden?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my team, WSR Esports. You know, my WSR Esports 113 machine wouldn't have been as fast today if it wasn't for them, and for them for coaching me throughout the season and giving me tips on what to do and what not to do, and then the competitors for making the season a great season, and then the league organizers for organizing a league as well run as this one, and yeah, just anybody who else that watches me and supports me.
Aiden, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. We'll see you next season. Thank you very much for your time.
Yep, see you guys next season.
Indeed. I'll let you, Sam, take over on this one.
Yes, let's have a chat with our championship winner, shall we? Norbert Leitner, who joins us now. Norbert, congratulations! I think it was pretty much decided beforehand anyway with the drop scores. But you are most definitely the champion now. Congratulations! It must feel very good to take the title this season.
Hello guys, thank you very much. Yeah, it was a pretty nice championship, I would say, because I had almost all rounds clear. Didn't had any big penalty or crashes. Only one round, which was Road America, which was the worst for me. So that was my drop round. But other than that, yeah, it was a pretty consistent results, and it was really great.
Yeah, you were super consistent throughout the season. Yeah, besides that one sort of wet race at Road America, it was very strong from yourself. Is there a round that sticks out? Is there a round that you might, you look back on particularly pleased and think that was the best driven round that you had this season?
I think Mosport, because I didn't expect it that the Mercedes will be good, and in the practices and quali was really close with Rupe, and the race was pretty close too, which we could win in with tactics, not with pace. So yeah, that was the standout round for me.
Yeah, that was a very fun race to watch with the strategy that was going on with the very high tire deg on that day. Of course, we were chatting to Rupi a few minutes ago, and he was talking about joining Impulse Racing for future seasons. Was that a move which was made possible by this series, or were you aware of Rupi already before this championship started?
I don't know what the team manager of Impulse was planning, but it definitely helped that to Rupe join Impulse, I think.
Absolutely, yeah. He was a very strong addition for you guys. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to, Norbert?
Yeah, of course. I want to thank Yannick, Igor, and Leon to help with the setups and set up the car and help in the races. And yeah, that's all.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having a chat with us, Norbert, and yeah, congratulations once again on the title.
Thank you, guys. See you.
Norbert Leitner there, your champion for Season 10 of the Apex Racing League GT3 trophy. I think that's his first championship win in this series. I think he may have won a NASCAR championship like 4 years ago in Apex Racing League, but I think that's his second title, so very different cars, very different series. Adam, who are you going to track up next?
Who have we got? We do have. Let's have a go with Alex Rogers. Yeah, it's our GT3 amateur winner for today. Yeah, illness brain is very much set in for me, but yeah, let's pull in Alex Rogers, see if we can have a little bit of chat with him. Alex Rogers, you're live on Apex Racing TV. A superb win for you in the amateur class. How has the season been for you?
It's been great fun. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. I think if I was gonna try and actually win the thing in my class, I needed to not mess up so much. I think it's fair to say I got my fair share of penalties through the season, and I think without that I'd have probably done much better. But yeah, it's been great fun. That's the best way to describe it.
We'll talk about the race. You were in a pack in a pack of quartet with 3 of the Pro GT3 cars behind you. You know, you were very, very strong in keeping that defense up.
Yeah, it was not easy. My palms are suitably sweaty after that. It was really not easy. Those guys are all really, really quick drivers. So it's safe to say I was hanging on by the skin of my teeth. And yeah, it just about hung on really. I don't think I quite had the outright pace that those guys had. I think the BMW was strong in the first sector. I think the last sector was really where I struggled, and obviously that puts you under quite a lot of threat because it's the biggest braking zone and the longest straight. So, but again, it was great fun and great to race around people of that ability, really.
And of course, kind of looking towards next season, we're going to be seeing you next season potentially as a team and not with your as a privateer.
Yeah, I should think so. I can't see why not. God willing, yeah, you'll see me next season.
Amazing. Is there anyone you're going to want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, my old man again. That's the first and foremost. Hyperion Racing for supporting me. And you guys really for putting it on. And yeah, it's been a really fun season. So thanks for putting it on.
Indeed. It's been a pleasure to have you, Alex. Go and celebrate your win.
Sorry.
See
One last shout out. Sorry, Adam. Jacopo
Nice.
for winning the amateurs. He deserves it on scale. He got far less penalties than me. Was much more consistent. So yeah, shout out to him for that.
A brilliant moment of sportsmanship there between you and Jacopo. But Alex, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. Go and celebrate your win. You thoroughly deserve it. And we'll see you next season.
Cheers, gents. See ya.
So I think we'll have one more interview, and it's with our driver who finished in 3rd position tonight. Anders, I guess bad luck is what I have to say, because you really seem to have the pace tonight, but unfortunately it came down to that one incident with the back marker. Talk us through how it went from your perspective.
Yeah, I just think that sums up perfectly how my season has been, actually. It's been, I feel like every opportunity I've had has not gone my way. Yeah, that incident really caught me out. I mean, the back marker pulled in, but I've been looking at it and he braked so early even before he pulled in. So that with the speed I had, there was just nothing I could do. Watching back at it, I braked earlier than I did other laps, but, you know, I had to take avoiding action, and that avoided ruined my braking. And luckily that Mustang is made of the same material as a tank, because Rupen managed to keep it on the road. I was so afraid it would ruin his race as well, but thankfully it pretty much only affected me. Obviously annoying. I saw this as my chance of finally getting a win this week, this season. If you look at the amount of time I lost from the spin and how it was in the end, I think it would have been a pretty good race for me without the spin. But yeah, it's what happens. And like I said, it just sums up how this season has been for me.
Yeah, we just watched it back actually on the broadcast, and yeah, it is pretty crazy that you finished only, I think, 3.5 seconds off the lead despite that, because yeah, you lost a lot of time from that incident. So yeah, that was super unlucky for yourself. Looking ahead to you know, not just, you know, next season of GT3 Trophy, but also just generally for Racing Lab Esports, what series have you guys got lined up? What cars are you going to be driving in the near future?
We started the World GT Championship yesterday, actually, round 1 with the Ford Mustang, me and Tommy Vedal. He had an unlucky race. I am P3 in the standings after round 1, so I had a crazy race yesterday. I went from P45 in the reverse grid to P2, so I had a couple of eventful evenings. I'm just glad I'm done with driving the Ferrari and BMW for a while. And we will obviously, we have done the first round in the 24-hour series, and that's a big one for us to be in. So yeah, I think this autumn it's gonna be the World GT Championship and the 24-hour series, at least for me. And if it doesn't clash with anything, I will definitely be back the next time, because I need to have a better season in the ARL GT3 Championship.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we look forward to seeing you back, Anders, and of course, best of luck for all these different championships. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I have to give a shout out to the team. Always everyone watching the stream and looking at the racing and cheering us on. Special shout out to Tommy and Nikolai this time for having been my teammates throughout this championship. It's been rough for all of us, but at least we've had had fun and shared experiences during practice. And yeah, finally I have to also give a shout out to our sponsors, Asetech, Flowfast, CarX.no, and THR. And a big shout out to you guys for putting together another great league and great broadcasts. And the organization is just so well done. So congrats to you as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for the kind words, Anders. And yeah, we hope to see plenty more Racing Lab Esports cars on the grid in the near future.
For sure. Thank you.
Anders Meyer, their 3rd place today. And that's all that the interviews wrapped up, Adam.
Indeed it was, and it's been a mighty season, Sam. I don't know about you, but yeah, I've pretty much been here the entire season, from rounds 1 to 10, and my goodness, it's been some of my favourite racing, to be honest, I've ever commentated on. You know, I think everyone looks at the single-seater route and think that's amazing, but oh my goodness me, GT are just something different, and that might kind of inspire me on my real-life journey to go in maybe that direction, but you never know, we'll see. So if I do end up maybe covering GT World Challenge or something, then I'll definitely have Apex Racing TV to thank for this. But from myself and Sam and Jim in the production gallery, it's a very big thank you for tuning in, and good night. We'll see you for season 11.